Good morning, and thank you for taking your time today to attend our very important and special webinar today. We're going to be covering IAMS Virtual Preset Appointments program, and we've got a special guest with us today, appointment setting expert and specialist Rob Markovitz is going to be my partner here going through these programs, as we're in one of the largest rate change and just environments. We're getting in front of people over the last couple decades has been important, but even more so now. A lot more people out there needing our help. So we're going to be covering that. And before we jump into it, I'm just going to briefly cover some items here with IAMS for many of you on the call. Some of you may be new with us. Some may be taking a look at IAMS for the first time. We appreciate that. And then we'll jump right in and get started. So if part of IAMS here, as a field marketing organization for over 30 years, came out in the late 80s, we've got several programs set up when you come on board with IAMS. So if you are new with IAMS, our program to jumpstart you into production and get cash in your pocket to utilize for programs like many of which we're going to talk about today would be called our Producer Builder program. And this is based on your first 180 days with IAMS. So if you're partnering with IAMS now, reach out to your marketing director, speak with them about the new Producer Builder program, because once you contract with us, that clock begins to tick 180 days. And what happens during that time? When you write business with us, we're going to compensate you for it to help you get in front of more people to see, or what got you in front of those cases in the first place. As you see on the board here, the way that would work is we have levels. So 100,000 there, I'm going to go ahead and go to the 250 level. $250,000 in annuity production, as an example, during your first 180 days with us, would yield us covering a 3,000 piece postcard mailing, 2,000 marketing dollar reimbursement if you're doing a program on your own. Some of the appointment programs we're talking about today, sky's the limit there, or a $1,500 cash Visa gift card. So levels all the way through $1 million plus. Talk to your sales director about your new Producer Builder program. We appreciate you and want to get you compensated for that. Also, building our business, much like yours, has been built off of referrals. We appreciate introductions, referrals, and that's no different with us than in your practice. The way we're set up is we're going to compensate you for those referrals on top of building the wisdom of the crowd here at IAMS, which we all appreciate and benefit from, yourself included. When that producer comes on board, we're going to pay you in a couple different ways. First off, when they license, $50 cash check to you. When they license, we'll get them, my team and staff will get them set up with us. And then as they write business, we're going to pay you out of our pocket, not out of their override or yours. No contracts, no liabilities with agents underneath you. You're going to receive basis points for life off of the production they write through IAMS as an appreciation. If you have interest in hearing more on that, make sure to talk to your sales director or myself and indicate later that you're interested in that program. And then once you're on board with IAMS, we have an ongoing marketing reimbursement account that's set up to cover programs just like we'll be discussing today. Lead and most talked about in our industry, if you talk to anybody that's with IAMS, is our service level guarantee. We are proud and find it very important to keep our service level very high. What you do out in the field is very difficult, very, very taxing, and as much of that we can handle on our side, we'd like to be your employees without having to be on your payroll. In other words, you don't have to pay us. We'd like to step in as much as we can. Our new business team is ready to take your business when it comes in and provide any detailed answers you need. Creative solutions, if you have not talked to your marketing director, we'll talk about this a little bit later, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But we can also sit down with you and do a customized marketing analysis to discuss some of these programs we're going to be covering today, how they may fit into your practice in your current situation. If you're interested in expanding your practice into the realm of wealth management, in other words, getting your Series 65, we can help there as well. Low fee structure, very beneficial to and open to the asset class of indexed annuities, working with asset protection, life, long-term care, but then also would be happy to work with you on the wealth management side. If you're getting your 65, give us a call. Or if you have any questions on doing that, we'd be happy to assist as well with Duncan in wealth management. 2-day academy, I'll be covering this a little bit later. So Rob, I'm going to skip that slide for us. And I'm going to kind of get into the introduction today here. And I'm going to introduce my guest here, Rob. And we're going to get rolling and talk about some of our appointment programs here. So Rob, are you on with us?
I am ready to roll. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning, for sure, or this afternoon, depending on where you are. um, yeah, so
Exactly.
a couple things, you guys. And Justin has a slide up a little bit, just talking about what we do. Number one, I've been partnered with IAMS for about 6-7 years now. They've got some great things going on in the back office, lots of opportunities to take care of, that can help you ease your business, so to say. I see a lot of agents once in a while they kind of get distracted. You're trying to figure out how to market for yourself, how to do your own website, and how to do this and how to do that. You're not focusing on the clients, and that's where you end up losing business. So if between myself and IAMS, if we can put you in front of clients 2/3 of the day that you've been trying to market yourself, you can see your business will double or triple. So I want to say that to start out with. One of the things, and Justin has a slide up about post-COVID, with the appointment companies, kind of what we saw um, kind of coming down the pipeline is, we've seen over the years, even pre-COVID, an ever increase to want to do appointments virtually. I know for some agents, that's a big challenge. One of the things I say to agents is, hey, before you used to, go get your keys off the nightstand, go put your key in the ignition of the car, do your windshield time and drive to go meet a client, and then sometimes the client's not showing up. The efficiency on that side is very low. So those of you that haven't changed, it's something you probably want to eventually look into. The other thing is the opportunities are huge. So, there's a lot of, like, I have a bunch of clients that are originally from Pennsylvania. They've been living in Florida for the last 10-15 years. They're licensed in both states. They don't go up to Pennsylvania that often, but they're still doing business there because, everything's gone virtual. So, to start out with, these appointments, hey, how are they held? That first appointment's usually a phone call or a Zoom meeting, up to you, but it is virtual. The nice thing now, instead of picking you're going to leave your keys on the nightstand, the car in the garage, you're going to go to your computer or your phone. And that's going to be the keys to getting in front of your client, if that makes any sense. So one of the nice things with that is, if you're working different markets, if you're working different states, before you had to be very restrictive. And for those of you in smaller towns, you kind of limit your business because you can only be in that specific area. Now you can spread your wings, and it's pretty easy to get an appointment in Houston, and then get another appointment in, wherever, Waco, the same day, right? And then one in Dallas, and you could have one after the other. So the efficiency there is huge, and it makes a big difference, and it also helps you to be better at what you're doing. So that's some of the changes we've seen. COVID basically just pushed the insurance industry ahead about 7 years ahead in a compressed time. That's basically what's happened there. That's my feeling on it. Of course, you guys all had to make changes during that, and the carriers had to make changes, and now everything's going pretty smoothly. Just so you guys know, when on this appointment side, the client requests the type of appointment they want. I would say out of a sample size of maybe 5,000 appointments, we're seeing 1 or 2 people requesting a face-to-face. So it's very rare we're even seeing it at all on that side. But just to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what's different about this program, there's some other programs available through IAMS as well, but this is an appointment setting program. And what's different about it, if I gave you guys a couple bullet points about it, just a 10,000-foot overview, so to say, would be, number one is these companies never give away anything for free. They don't give away a free gift card, a free iPad, a free Starbucks card, or anything else to entice anybody. Those things end up becoming a waste of time, especially for a seasoned agent, because you're sitting there having to do, sort of the bait and switch or the pivot on there. and you got to waste 45 minutes convincing them why they need to get insurance or why they need an annuity or whatever product it is. So that's number one is, none of these companies give away anything for free. Number two, they create, sell, deliver, confirm one appointment one time for a single agent. So these aren't resold. And we're going to get into the calendars and some of that in a minute. Justin and I will get into that in a minute. The other thing that's really cool about these appointments is, when I talk to agents, and yeah, Justin, you can leave that slide up. When I talk to agents, the biggest challenges I hear, I spoke to a group of 10,000 agents, and I'm like, hey, what are the biggest challenges? And I talked to hundreds of thousands of agents, and it's always the same couple things. Hey, how do I meet a new client? So I'm on stage talking to this big group of agents, and hey, how do I meet a new client? I'm like, absolutely, but that's absolutely wrong, right? I jump off the stage and I put my hand out and I go, hi, I'm Rob. And the guy goes, oh, I'm Justin. Well, now I know Justin. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do I get them to put the finances across the table? The nice thing is with these appointments, when we reach out to these people, and you can see the list: educators, state employees, college employees, federal employees, these appointment companies engage them about their pension and retirements. Hey, Sally Sue, school teacher, would you like to know more about your retirement and pension? Yes, I would. Would you like to know when I can retire, when you can retire, sorry. Would you like to know how many more years you possibly have to work? Would you like to know what options are available for income when you retire? Justin's laughing because he wants to retire tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Anyway, so so that's kind of the path it goes down. And then the fourth bullet point that's really cool about it is, when the client says, yeah, I do want to meet with somebody, we're like, great, we'll set you up with an expert in that area that's licensed in the state of whatever state the client's from. But then the client goes in and creates the appointment. And so the client creates the appointment for the date and the time of the appointment. And what's really nice about that is it gives you a huge opportunity. The no-show rates on these appointments are very low because of that. And so what these systems do, and we'll get into a calendar in a second, but like the email that's up there, you can go that next one, Justin, really quick. If you want, the prospects are responding usually to an email, some kind of digital format, and then the appointments would be booked. You basically register, sit back. We're going to talk about that in the calendar in a minute. But the cool thing about it is, when that appointment's created, it would look at the appointment and go, oh, let's just say it was created in the state of Colorado, and Justin and I are both opted in, and it's a college appointment. The system would grab that appointment and go, hey, who are the agents in Colorado that want college appointments? Oh, Rob and Justin are. Oh, is Rob available 3 o'clock on Thursday? No, he's not. His calendar's blocked. Is Justin available? Yeah, he's available. Okay, it would deliver the appointment to Justin. So that's basically how the process in that works. Some agents ask about the email thing, and about, hey, is anybody, and this is old school, don't be old school, if you're still making what you were making 10 years ago, there's an issue, unless it's well into the 7 digits, right? Because you didn't change anything, so it's all about change, and taking advantage of that. The appointment on that appointment side, and what happens, and the calendar side, and what happens, about the, hey, well, isn't anybody calling these people? You don't want that. And the reason I'm going to tell you why you guys don't want that is because if we hire somebody to set an appointment for you, how do they usually get paid? They're going to get paid based on how many appointments they set. And we've all had those marketing calls, where you get the bulldog on there and they won't let you off the phone, right, until you say yes to something. And a lot of times that happens in this industry. And so then what happens is the client goes, yeah, okay, 2 o'clock on Tuesday's fine. Well, then the client never shows up. So the nice thing is when we're doing this digitally, we're not forcing anybody to make an appointment. We're not giving them anything free to make an appointment. They're making an appointment because they want to meet with somebody, and they're selecting the date and time. So On the appointments, what do we see opportunities in? And Justin, you might pipe in on this, but a lot of 403Bs, 457s, the rollovers, annuities, lots of life insurance. I don't know if you have any comments on that, Justin, at all.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. And on the back end of it, it's evident that they are setting their appointment based on their concern, Rob, and their need. Because when my agents and advisors give feedback on the sales opportunities, the relationship, it's a much better conversation. The needs definitely rollovers. We see some contribution accounts. You'll see individuals that are maybe younger in their financial planning or age to retirement that'll be funding ongoing payments. A lot of index universal life insurance comes from this when we talk about tax offset, future tax rates increasing, ongoing funding. Amazing how many people like myself, despite wanting to retire yesterday, I've cleverly had my HR department deposit a percentage of my pay each year up to a match that they give me a bonus on into my ERISA plan. And a lot of these individuals are doing the same. They're just having that money pulled out of their 403B, not realizing, until this point where they set a call with a Rob or a Justin in the appointment program that there is a gap. They may need more income to retire, and the taxes could help. So, index universal life rollovers, a lot of non-education or non-industry spouses. So, when you meet with someone, I'm finding also we're seeing the larger rollovers from the non-appointment spouse. So, in other words, one spouse may be the educator, and another spouse is in the corporate or the independent world, and we see large rollovers early on there too. Annuities and life insurance,
Absolutely.
long-term care, and asset care. Yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely. I'd agree with that. And the other thing is too, where there's a big opportunity, and this is the second biggest challenge I hear out of a lot of agents, is they're always like, hey, everybody I meet that has a job and has some income already has a financial advisor, and how do I get around it? And everybody's got their
Yeah.
pitch. Hey, it doesn't hurt to have a second opinion or somebody to look at it. Again, the nice thing is, and Justin just hit the nail on the head, is most all of these people have some kind of a pension or retirement income gap. And I'm going to tell you, 91 to 92% of the people that participate in a pension, whether it's a fire person, a policeman, a college professor, a school teacher, whatever it is, have no clue what they're going to retire with. And the other thing I will tell you about that is back to my group of 10,000 agents. When I ask them the question, hey, how many of you have a policeman, a fireman, a city, county, municipal worker, a college professor, a school teacher, somebody that participates in your pension? Raise your hand. Well, with 10,000 agents, licensed agents in the crowd, of course, every hand goes up. But then the next question I ask is, how many of you have ever reviewed their pension? And out of that group, it's kind of interesting. I had 5 hands left in the air. And so that's where the opportunity is, because, when you're running into people that already have a financial planner, the only opportunity you have is to show you're more knowledgeable than the other person that they're currently using. And so, when that opportunity arises, hey, Sally Sue school teacher, what do you think you're going to retire with? Well, I have no idea. Well, give me a guess. And she goes 80 grand a year. And you go, well, you told me you had a financial advisor. Did he go over this with you? No, he didn't. Well, in the state of California, the pension shortfalls about, is an average, maybe, 40, 45%. So can you retire on 42,000 a year? No, I can't. Why? Well, let me take you through the calculation and let's see what the amount is for real, or give you a good estimated amount. And then you take them through that pension calculation. And during that time, you're talking about, Guy, Sally, I can't believe your advisor didn't go over this, right? And where Justin is talking about these opportunities is at the end of that conversation, it's pretty much, hey, Sally, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is you have, a little over half your expectation, saved away, the 42,000. The bad news is you're 38,000 short. What did your financial advisor put in place? Well, we already know the financial advisor never reviewed it. You're just asking the question to nice and neatly show them you're more knowledgeable, and you're educating them better, and they nothing. And what do you have in place to cover it? Nothing, because they never knew about it. From there, it's help. And that's kind of what Justin was leading into. So, Justin, you got something to say on that at all?
I would completely concur. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, just solidifying that misunderstanding, or for many, and the numbers show, Rob, nationwide we have an income challenge with Americans' ability to retire, and a misconception between what your lifestyle is going to be in retirement. What, like you said, I loved what you just said there. What is the real number? Let's take a look at the realistic outcome. Let's take a look at your baseline. We've got to
Yeah.
get a baseline, and
And you brought
from
up
there,
an
I can see that being better.
important point too, Justin. You said, about, on the tax side, a lot of these people go, maybe their advisor did go over some of it, right? Maybe their advisor did tell them about their 401A if it's a professor in a university, but, hey, I'm a little worried about, your financial plan. You didn't know you had as big a shortfall, or maybe you did know you have it, but, are you aware that your pension is going to be taxed? And that your 401A or your 403B or 457 is going to be taxed, and it's always the three things, no, how much do I owe? Well, we can only estimate, but it seems like taxes are doing what, and they're going to respond going up. And then, of course, what can I do to avoid the tax? And that's where the annuities and IULs start popping into it. Hey, um, Sally Sue Professor, what else? What other monies do you have laying around? I've got 200 grand under the couch. Okay, well, let's take 100,000 of that. Let's start up an IUL, and the money you're putting into your 403 or 40, 457, 403B or 401A, that $3,000 a month you're putting away pre-tax. Let's stop doing that. Let's put it away post-tax in this new IUL we set up for you. And so that's where a lot of the opportunity is too on that side. They also don't know
Yeah,
how
the products.
their Social Security is another
Sorry.
one. How their Social Security, you're fine. How their Social Security interacts with their pension, or if they even have a Social Security, right? So the other thing that Justin said, I think is really important is, accessibility to spouses. The referrals in this side of the business is huge, and you probably see a lot of that, Justin, from your clients that are buying appointments from a few of these appointment companies, I would think.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's one I left out. Referrals even outside, onto your point, outside the family.
Yeah,
Additional referrals within
absolutely.
that network. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. What do we got for the next slide? I know we got a calendar in here somewhere. There we go.
There is the calendar. There we
So
go.
there it
There we go.
is.
June of
There we
2020.
go.
Let's not
So
remember the top. There we go.
on this calendar, the Justin and Rob show here, right? Comedy hour. The
That's
the
right.
calendar, it's really important, and in most of these companies, you're not pre-buying anything. That's the other cool thing is, and we'll get into the price in a minute. But the cool thing of being associated with IAMS is taking care of your sign-up fees, monthly access fees, your registration fees. That's all being taken care of for you, so you have zero out of pocket. The appointment calendar that you're seeing right there is from one of the companies. I can't tell you who it is, but Justin will tell you once you call them at the end of this. But I think they're probably the leader in what's going on in my own eyes. They do a great job as far as keeping you full. The one thing I do want to caution you, and Justin, you're going to agree with me, what you see on this calendar, everything in green is an appointment, to give you an idea. And so if you leave your calendar wide open, you can see what happens. And Justin and I have both had the case where agents go, oh man, I did this thing with this appointment company and I paid them, X dollars. I was paying $400 an appointment. Number one, these appointments aren't even anywhere close to 400 because of your association with IAMS.
Right.
But hey, I prepaid them for 10 appointments. I gave them $4,000, and number one is you don't have to prepay any of this, so that's even better. But and I got 2 appointments over the last 4 months, so I'm going to leave my calendar wide open. If you do, these guys will fill it. And so you want to be really careful when you start out. Most of these appointments are going to be 2 or 3 appointment closers. You're also going to get a lot of referral business off it, with Justin and I just talked about. So make sure, when you start out, that you're blocking out your calendar. The system's looking for times when you are available, or basically you're not booked. So for example, you would go in and go, hey, I don't want to start any appointments before 10 a.m. You might go in and create a block from 7 a.m. in the morning until 10 a.m. in the morning. and then just say you wanted to stop working at 3 o'clock, you'd be able to go in and create a block from 3 o'clock until 7 o'clock at night, and you wouldn't get any appointments. Now, where this is really beneficial as an agent, some of you guys go, hey, on Mondays, I don't want to work. I want to get my week organized. On Fridays, I don't want to work. I want to go golfing. I'm meeting with my client next Thursday at 3 o'clock. No problem. You put it in your calendar. It blocks it out. We won't deliver an appointment to you during that time span. Where I think this is really cool, though, is for those of you that have been in this industry for a while, you guys all know this is a home run, strikeout, I'm rich, I'm poor industry. And the only way you can avoid that is by keeping activity going. And where agents really get challenged a lot, and this isn't really about working, this is about having a good family work life, right? A good mix. Is you go on vacation and you go, hey, I'm leaving on vacation usually, and you leave, right? And then you leave on a Friday, you're laying by the pool with the funny umbrella and your weird drink, and it's Wednesday, and you're like, man, I got to fly back on Saturday, and I don't have anything on my calendar next week, and you start worrying, I got to pay for this, $10,000 vacation I just took my family on, right? And you start kind of thinking about that stuff. The nice thing with this appointment system, you win a thing to go to the IAMS convention. You decide, hey, I'm going to go on vacation next week. You go in there, you just block your calendar out, starting, whatever day it is. In this example, maybe it's Monday the 8th through the 12th, and you create a block on your calendar. What happens, you can go relax, spend time with your family, enjoy your vacation, and the system would shut off and it won't deliver any appointments to you. But what would happen is about on Wednesday, the 10th or 11th in this example, their system would start up again, and it would start delivering appointments to you on the 15th, 16th, 17th, so the following week. And you'd be sitting there, and if you're playing around on your phone, all of a sudden, ding, 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 through your emails, you're like, oh man, I already have appointments for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And you can sit back and relax. And that's one of the biggest comments I get out of agents. I don't know, Justin, if you've had any of your guys comment on that with the
Oh,
calendar
yeah.
availability.
I was I, I was chomping at the bit, like my Robin to me, or to my Howard Stern in our meeting here on the podcast. I could not uh, say a positive more about that. That is one of the biggest comments I see. And when I got into this industry, I got in for the money, Rob. But what kept me staying, and I learned from agents and independent business owners, that it's not about the money. It is about how you spend your time. In many cases, money gets you that ability to control your time. For many that I've worked with, I've heard comments, uh, from very successful revenue-driven producers that will share with me that they'd operated on a slim operations budget, maybe having one virtual assistant or not at all, or just one, and go on from utilizing a system like this and been able to feel that they were in a truly consistent, regimented, managed day-to-day business. Like you said, you leave
Yep.
vacation, you
Yeah.
come back, everything's laid out. Yeah, so couldn't say enough for that. That is one of the big benefits I hear too.
Yeah, and it is, you make a good point too. It is all about activity, you guys. I mean, it's like I see, I mean, I've brought tens of thousands of agents onto these appointment systems, and typically, as long as they're organized and they follow their procedures, they're usually seeing a 2.5 to 3 time increase in their revenue, just because they're getting a little bit more organized, but they're seeing people. It's just putting people in front of them. And I do want to reiterate, it's like I guarantee you, out of all the people on the phone right now, 99% of you are not web developing experts, as far as building a website. But I guarantee you, the people over at IAMS and Steve and the ownership group over there, they have some really, really high-end IT guys that's what they do. That's what they're there for. And if you belong to IAMS, and let them do that work for you. That's why they're there, and it helps you, and it saves you that time, because it is all about time management, and that way you can follow up with the clients and stuff. But that's all I have to say about the calendar. Justin, I don't know, do you have anything else to touch on that calendar?
Just reiterating what you said, and the more and more that's, I see that as a benefit. You're also reducing what I call switch over or change over time. when you look at logistics and shipping, the time it takes you to retool or change out your tools or change your load and move to another place, it's no different in my mind and what from advisors have shared with me in my day to day. Then it's different when I go in to prepare to meet with a family or a client for the first time on a virtual appointment or face to face than it is for me to immediately be putting together, my financial plan with my CPA an hour prior to that. So sectioning out those days, this really allows you to do that, which means I'm more efficient, or the agent is telling me they're more efficient during that blocked out appointment time, because that's all they're doing is making those calls, having those appointments set up, and it just allows you to be better at what you do best without having an
Yeah.
assistant. So couldn't
One
say enough
other
about
thing
that, man.
too.
Yep.
One other thing on that calendar. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. One other thing on that
No,
calendar
no
is
problem.
it does sync. They do sync. So if you have a Google Calendar, an Outlook calendar, their system will sync with your Google or Outlook calendar, so you don't have to worry about that. That makes it very, very easy on
Yeah.
that side as well. So keep that in mind, because that's usually a question that pops up. One thing here, the discounted price, you guys are getting a VIP price. It's on the thing, $64 an appointment. Do they take care of no-shows? No, they do not, is what they tell me to tell you. They do not take care of no-shows. However, a couple things. Number one is, when you first start out, they're a little bit more lenient. If you had 4 appointments, the first day and 2 of them didn't show up, will they take care of them? Yes. Um, there is some kind of procedures to follow. A lot of this, if you're dealing in the K through 12 or college market, for example, do not be late. That's the biggest downfall I see of agents. They're like, oh, I called at 10:01 and it was a 10 o'clock appointment. Well, you're meeting with a school teacher or a professor that's been in the industry for a while. What do they do, and then what do they run, and how does their mind run? Forget about what you do, but what do they do? And you got to put yourself in
You
their
scare me.
mind.
You're bringing me back. You're bringing me back to university, even MBA. Like, I'm too
It's
scared
sort of
now.
like the
I'm going to be late for
Spicoli.
class.
It's sort of like the Spicoli thing. Hey, you're
Yep,
supposed to be in your chair when the bell goes off, right? And so they think about that stuff.
exactly.
And so don't get
That's
off
a
to a
good
bad
point.
start. So I have a couple clients. One of them, in particular, his procedure is he calls it, if he's got a 10 o'clock appointment, he calls at 9:59. If they don't pick up, he leaves a message. Hi, my name's Rob. I'm the representative that's supposed to be assisting you with your retirement concerns. You made an appointment today for 10 o'clock. Hope everything's okay. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. And promptly in 5 minutes, he calls back. He usually has a pickup. If he doesn't have a pickup on that call, it's, hey, it's Rob again. I hope everything's okay. And give me a shout back. Here's my phone number. We can get this thing rescheduled. He'll usually get a call back within 15 minutes. His no-show rate's about 5.2%. It was down as low as like 4.6%, but he's running about 5% no-show rate, which is extremely low, especially when you're paying $64 for an appointment. These are VIP prices that you guys are getting. So big opportunity on that side as well. The wave setup fees and introductory fees, like I said, IAMS is taking care of that stuff. And you've got no contract, so you get set up with these guys. There's no maximums, no minimums. It's all based off your calendar availability, and that's your throttle. So once you get into the program, we'll get you all set up, get your calendar, help you get your calendar set up, and then from there you just need to maintain that, kind of go from there. What do you got on that one, Justin? Anything?
Yeah, I'd say that just like you, we'll help you here at IAMS with expertise from gentlemen like Rob and others with helping you structure that so that you don't run into, like Rob said earlier, a marketing vendor to IAMS and to the agent, to anybody. Their job is to get you in front of people, not necessarily to show up. Our job is to hopefully see some revenue when you write business after you get paid on your commissionable sales. So our team will make sure we can help you with things like flow, like making sure that you, like Rob mentioned, don't show up late. Also making sure your schedule is there to make sure you don't have too many incoming appointments so that it doesn't become overwhelming. But yeah, that's a very good point. And no
Absolutely.
contract as well, which is also great. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
What do we got next slide? We were going to talk a little bit, I think, today about, some of you agents out there. Hey, there's some other opportunities for IAMS and Justin's got the card up. There's some high-end qualified leads. They're $350, space limited. That's another great program. I don't represent that program, but that's okay. What helps and what's really cool about this is, when you reach out at the end of this, you'll be able to reach out to Jeremy and the team and over at IAMS and be able to they'll kind of find your sweet spot by talking to them. You might talk to them and go, hey, well, I tried the teacher market, it wasn't really good, but hey, I want some more qualified leads. What do you have? They can tell you about these more expensive appointments and basically what goes on with them. So that's a big opportunity. The other thing is, for those of you looking for training, on this federal leads, number 2 on here, the new program with there's another lead vendors available. There's some other appointments available out there from some other people as well. Again, maybe that I don't represent, but did we want to talk about the training in the federal thing and in your new program that you're releasing right now? Yeah, this is cool.
Appreciate that, Rob.
Yeah, no, I think this is really cool. This is another thing I don't have a lot to do with. However, I know the gentleman that's doing this, and his group's bought tens of thousands of appointments from me over the years, and I'm going to let you talk about it. But he is super sharp and has trained a ton of agents, so I'll let you roll on that right now.
I appreciate it. And as always, a shout out to Rob in your relationship with IAMS. We strive to, and one of the things that drew me to IAMS 4 years ago from my other IMO history over the last couple decades was just that, which is you're a collaborative professional. You're a collaborative partner with IAMS. So we appreciate that. And so what we're talking about here is not only calendaring your practice, but also I have been told, and in my experience, if in your practice you don't have what they call a target market or a thing, or that's his gig. He does seminars. He focuses on retirement income. She's a federal benefit specialist. I know there's agents out there that focus on divorce specialties, education market. Well, when it comes to things like the federal market, and you see it evident with what we just talked about, Rob, in the education market, little things matter, like that timing. I just took a note on that scared me back to being late in college. The Spicoli effect. It's like these little items, they take effect, right? So to be good, when you see an agency and it's like they've been doing phenomenal in that area, in that federal benefits market, how did they get there? And where they got there is a lot of times, like I tell my son every day, through mistakes. Hopefully you'll learn from dads, from mine. I always had to learn the hard way, Rob. I always had to be thrown in. And, the good thing is Dave Baker over at the federal, the partners with us on the education side with Federal Bridge, him and his team, just like you have with the
I think
too,
mistakes. I lost you for a second. So yeah, we lost you for a second. One of the things I think is cool about it, and back to what you said, Justin, is, through IAMS, they're going to provide you, and Dave, they're going to provide you with it's like providing you with a Formula One car and telling you how to drive it. And as long as you don't leave any of those things out, those little items out, you do well. So
that's a good point. I like the analogy, and that's exactly it. Everything from what's working with those federal employees. So it's a 3-part process. We mentioned numbers up here. We always like those, but Rob's right. You sit through a course with people who have been doing this. You have a mentor. It's video-based training. Imagine that, right? So online training modules, you can take at your own pace, but then also you have a advocate and an apprentice relationship, if you'd like, with the individual that's going to help in that market. So they're going to go through what is working with federal employees, what's helped to help them understand a successful retirement. They're going to go through all the little details to include a proprietary guide on all the federal benefits and assessment tools. If you've worked in the federal market, you understand the websites. When you look at the workbook these individuals go through, Fegley's website, everything is put together for you. You get the training material, get someone to coach you through it, and you have an opportunity in your first appointments with this program to leverage their expertise. So when you work with you have a lead on a federal individual, they will actually go through and work with you on that appointment. And for no cost, they just do an application. We do an app split. So So it's something like 70-30 on the application for that until you're ready to say, I want to do it on my own. And so it's your choice from the beginning, which I think is great. The education and training is phenomenal, in my opinion, needed very much so, even more so than the fourth, than some of the other ERISA plans, because federal benefits, there are some jumps and there's some very particular landmines you want to avoid. They'll get you all trained up, also go on the appointment with you for a simple application split. When you're ready to go, what we do is we will actually, the training program has, everything has a cost to it. Training program has an investment cost to do the training and get all trained up. And then what we do on the first, when you have your first 100,000 in 5 individual sales, and we'll be able to send this to you. Once you've written your first cases through this, we'll go through and we'll actually put in a credit to pay for your next round of federal appointments at IAMS. So we have a program, like Rob said, similar to the calendar we saw earlier to a great extent, that would do the same thing, but for individuals that are in the federal market. So now you're talking big time. You've got your set up federal appointments, whether you're going with the individual to do the application split with you, or you're at this point not having anybody ride shotgun, you're in complete control when you turn those off, or not, controlling your calendar, no contracts. Really, it is about getting you the training. We do an application split, so we don't have to have anybody tied underneath a hierarchy. I've been doing this 24 years, Rob, believe it or not, as old as my beard tells me I am. But, back
I
in the
love it.
day, you
No,
remember when
it's cool
you love
because
it,
you
right?
guys are,
Yeah,
Dave's going to help people. Hey, we're going to teach you how to fish. It's different
right.
if I bring you a fish and different if I teach you how to fish, right? So you can sustain what you're doing. And I think it's a win-win thing for everybody aboard. One of the things I see, and we kind of, Justin and I kind of just touched on this. It's the procedures, and it's so funny. I watch, a lot of different companies that buy appointments from us, and you leave out one little quirk in the process, right? And that makes the difference between being a 90% closer and a 10% closer. So having all those little
Exactly.
true, tried, and tested procedures, really helps agents, on that side for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I concur, and I love what you said. It sets you up for that success. The little things like, with federal employees, the new my TSP website, as an example. When you work with a federal employee, it nothing gains trust faster when you actually know what they have to do, because their entire life they're a federal employee. They've been
yep.
told, and I've seen this with my sister, right? They know where to go to the website. You're going to get all the training on this program to where actually you'll know how to, when they log in, how to help them navigate through what's been given to them, which is crucial. And I see that in success with agencies that work everywhere. Would you agree, Rob,
Yeah, and
with
the
something
cool
like
thing
that? And
about it, yeah, the cool thing, sorry to interrupt you. The cool thing about that system is, you can get on here, get trained up. You're doing a little bit of the app split, back on the appointments. But hey, once you learn how to fish, now you can get your own boat. IAMS turns around and gives you that money back. Now you can go back and buy appointments straight up, on your own, that you don't have to do an app split on. So, that's
exactly.
that's a big opportunity to be able to be trained and know what's going on. I mean, hey, we understand, I understand there's a lot of places that you can get leads from. Although, like I said, these are all appointments, and maybe there's some other appointment companies you can get appointments from as well. And there's other IMOs out there, but a lot of them don't offer stuff like this to be able to train you to do stuff. They're like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
move your contracts over here, and then you never hear from them, right? And you're trying to run them
Mhm.
down. One of the things I do love about IAMS, and everybody always laughs at me when I say this, but I call a lot of different IMOs, and one of the only ones that answers the phone like within a couple rings with a live body is IAMS.
Right.
So I always
That's how I got
comment
my
on
interview.
that. And yeah, hey, I mean,
That's
it's a big deal.
right.
At least it is to me, because I mean, I'm calling you guys, 3-4 times a week, and not I can't always get a hold of who I want to get a hold of, but at least I'm talking to a human being, which is pleasant in
Yeah.
today's time and age. What else do we have
Or,
in there?
yes.
Any other slides or any other thing you've got, Justin?
Yeah. One, yes, sir. One other thing I'd point out and, indicate, we'll have a couple I'm going to pull up a couple polling questions, but if you work with indexed annuities and index life insurance, which, that's what we're doing here, the one of the, I wouldn't say challenges, but one of the solutions we have is we've partnered with a company that that actually does in-depth analysis on reviewing your indexed crediting method allocation options by indice and by crediting method. So big picture, what this allows you to do is you meet with the client, you have an idea of what direction they want to allocate their product into, and upon renewal, this program would allow you to actually do a structured renewal program when you do their reallocation to give a suggestion as to what they should indicate or allocate their monies into based on history, facts, and returns. And get this, it's all the same looking material. So instead of flipping between a North American application and then pulling back an Allianz indexed application and you got the IUL on one side or a whiteboard, you don't have to deal with any of that. If you're left-handed like me, you don't have to have the black dry erase board stuff on your hand halfway through the day by writing on the board. Instead, the program itself will evaluate all your crediting methods for across multiple carriers and give them an analysis, which puts you at a professional light, but also I've found very helpful for understanding some of these volatility control indexes. Talk to us about that. Part of that program, we don't have time on this one, but there's another webinar out there that talks about it. This program is also very helpful right now if you are, and I would definitely urge you to do so if you're not, talk with existing annuity owners and do a review, a beneficiary review, a product review, whether you wrote the original product or not. As long as you're looking at 2 years ago or longer that they initially took out that annuity, it's very likely in today's environment they can get into a new product and probably should, in many cases, get a better income or what have you. This program will allow you to also review replacements. So if you have an interest in digging into your existing book, or as you're working with appointments through the appointment program on the calendar, and you're reviewing these, that's where a lot of those spouses come from. We have people that come in that have had TSP annuities in the 403B world. They're usually with National Life or somebody, and those appointments, the spouse may have an annuity with Prudential, outside of it, maybe a variable annuity. They're paying for an income benefit. We can get them a better deal. It's a cross transfer, a new commission, and you just gain the spouse. And now you have the bigger 401k or the bigger ERISA plan. So all these things can be beneficial. Indexed, it's called the indexalizer, indexed allocation. Indicate here in a second. I'm going to put some polling questions up, Rob, but that's what all I
Yeah.
have here.
No, that's awesome. One thing I would tell you guys, in kind of closing, he's putting some polling questions up comments that I have is, we're basically through the first quarter of the year, right? Yeah, we are almost through the first quarter already. And 2.5 months ago, you probably, I always laugh at agents because, I ask the question always, hey, what's your temperature? What's the score basically? And, at the beginning of the year, everybody sets, hey, they've got all these goals, and one thing I see is that guys don't follow their goals. Agents don't follow their goals. And the biggest thing I see is they don't take their temperature. And I'll go back. I was doing a thing with another big group in July, and we were talking a little bit about, hey, well, where are you? If you did 200 grand last year, you want to make 400 grand this year. Where are you? And it was kind of interesting, when I asked the people to raise their hands, hey, how many of you know what the score is? There were only about 3 people that raised their hands where they were for the year. And you know what those 3 people are? They're the top producers. And
Right.
so I really preach that hard. It's like if Justin and I are coaching a football team, we don't look at the scoreboard at 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter and go, oh man, look, we're 3 touchdowns behind. We better change something.
Right.
No, we're changing as we go. And so you got to analyze it. Hey, you want to make $1 million a year? There's a lot of people in this industry that make $1 million a year, and they do it through activity, and they've got a degree in what I call, there's the MBAs, there's the this, the that, a lot of letters out there in the financial world, but there's a big one. It's called a GID, and a lot of people don't have GIDs, and it's not something you go get. It's called get it done, right, on stuff, and that makes a big difference. Hey, one thing on that federal thing, they don't actually go on the appointments with you, just so you know, but they train you
Oh,
exactly
thank you.
what
Yeah.
to, yeah, they train you exactly what to do. I wanted to go over that because you kind of made it sound like, hey, they'll go out with you. Um,
Man, I
Unfortunately,
appreciate it. Like I said,
yeah,
yeah, I
I,
appreciate you
I,
filling in
I
that
just
gap.
wanted to
Very good
catch
clarity.
that one. I don't want Dave going, hey man, I can't go out with 300 of you, you know. I know he's probably
Right.
listening in on this call right now because he was texting me to not forget that. So we appreciate you being
Yeah.
there,
And
Dave, and I know the people are
yeah,
looking forward to getting rolling with you. What were you going to say, Justin?
I was going to say, and for compliance reasons, Rob and I are unavailable for those appointments, unfortunately, as well, as much as I'd like to
Yes.
attend those too. So,
Yeah, exactly,
but
exactly.
no, very good point. Very good point. Yeah,
But you know,
we want to
that's
get
the
you all
thing
prepared
here.
up to fit
Yeah.
on your own, right?
Yeah, make some changes. Hey, if you need to look at your quarter here, and hey, if you want to make $1 million this year and you're not at close to 250,000 right now in income, you need to make some changes. And if that's getting on a different appointment company, getting off the lead source you're on, getting your website done, whatever it is, you got to make some changes. Otherwise, you are not going to see a difference. It's always about, don't live your life going, hey, next year, next year, next year. The years pass by very quickly. And I think there's a big
Yes, they
opportunity
do.
here. Like I said, this business is all about activity. And if we can get you in front of people, which we can, we can make things happen. We've got the availability to train you in an area you're not in. If you want to really jump into that federal market, it's a great market. Like I said, Dave and his team, I've sold those guys, tens of thousands of appointments over the years. And they do a great job because they've been trained by somebody that knows what's going on in the industry. There's a
Yeah,
lot of value there on that side of it. But Justin, what else we
and your
got
help
before we
too.
close it up, man? We're getting
Well,
close.
I think we're good. I think I'd also, ditto that back to, we are blessed here at IAMS, to be able to offer this, but really appreciate the wisdom of the crowd and the structure of our webinar today, Rob, because at the end of the day, we're all benefiting from the same revenue stream and the same desire to help clients and, the individual retiree. Um, we should be sharing these resources and helping. So thank you for getting the
Absolutely.
agents in front of those appointments, my friend, and Dave as well, and these programs. So we'll continue to
Hey,
serve these
Justin, do you want to
topics
flip
up.
this? Yeah, do you want to flip the slide
Yeah,
up with your phone number on there really quick too? Because I know a lot of you
yeah.
people are going, hey, well, how
Thank
do I
you.
get started on appointments? There you go. Reach out to Justin. One other thing we left out, Justin, really quick on the appointments. Hey, how soon could I
Yes,
get appointments by? If you get in with Justin, get everything
yes,
signed up, get all set up with him, he'll spin you back to me. We could, if I signed you up on a Monday with the appointment company, we would probably have appointments to you by Wednesday, Thursday, right in that area. So I mean, it's almost
nice.
instant that he can have stuff to you, depending on where you
Which
are.
is important.
Are there any limited markets? No, not really. There's really not. Areas where we're really shut down in. It's kind of an open book. You can run as many states as you want. The more states, the merrier. And that's basically that. So reach out to Justin and his team, and he'll get you fired up.
Appreciate you so much, Rob, and that's correct. Any question you have on the webinar, my other polling questions did not pull up, which is fine. Just email me. You can see Justin at IAMSinc.com. Any question regarding IAMS, but particularly, like Rob said, with IAMS, no setup fees. And for all this, IAMS myself, we're looking at ability to partner with you if you're not already with IAMS, working with you with some of those companies to help you get there. As always, Rob, appreciate your time, and everybody on the call, appreciate your time listening in. I hope you pulled more than one or two great ideas out of today that you can implement. Wish you the best of success, and I hope to speak with you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're up. Take care. Thank you.